Hi boys and girls, happy Earth Day. It's Mrs. Growth and I wanted to share a little read aloud with you, literally a little read aloud. It's a tiny little book and it is called Earth Day. It is written by Trudy Strain Truitt and this is a nonfiction book that's going to teach us all about Earth Day. Earth Day. Imagine a city where the air is so dirty that it is hard to breathe. Imagine a lake full of oil that no fish or wildlife can live there. And if you look at that picture, you can see that the sky is looking very gray, full of smog and germs. Some places in the United States were like this 50 years ago. People didn't think as much about the environment back then. The environment is the air, the land, and the water that we all need to survive. So this is showing us a picture of a polluted lake. If you look closely, you can see that there's garbage in there. I bet that makes it really hard for the fish and the turtle and the frogs and the birds to live there. Factories filled the air with smoke and pollution. Cars let off more gas fumes than they do today. Companies dumped dangerous materials into rivers. Chemicals used by farmers to grow foods also damaged the soil. So a lot of the things that we were using for our everyday life to help us get from place to place or to help the farmers grow the crops without having them eaten by bugs, that was damaging the environment. Senator Gaylord Nelson felt America should be doing more to take care of the planet. He wanted to teach people how to protect Earth's air, soil, water, plants, and animals. This idea is known as conservation. So conservation is when we protect things like the land and the animals and the air and the water. Senator Nelson wanted to get more young people interested in conservation, so he created Earth Day. And the first Earth Day was held on April 22nd, 1970. And here it is. And today is April 22nd, 2020. Millions of students took part in marches. They gave speeches. They asked world leaders to take action to save the environment. So look, here are kiddos, and they are in a parade, and they are saying, don't vandalize the earth. They're putting a circle slash through littering, and they drew a nice picture of the earth. Earth Day made a difference. Laws were passed to protect the environment. Car makers had to build cars that created less pollution. Many harmful chemicals were outlawed. And here are electric cars that are good for the environment because they don't give off that stinky carbon monoxide that hurts our ozone layer. Cities began to recycle. People turned in used paper, glass, and plastic. These items were later made into new products. Boxes, bags, and packing materials were all things that can be reused. So right now we're having a lot of things delivered to our house. So the boxes that they come in, the cardboard boxes, we are recycling so that way they can be turned into new cardboard boxes. Ways to celebrate. Most nations around the world celebrate Earth. Children in Australia pick up litter or trash along the beaches. People in the United States and Canada plant trees because trees bring more oxygen, more clean oxygen to the world. Russian students plant vegetable gardens. They learn to grow food without using harmful chemicals. So there's somebody planting some lettuce. Some families talk about ways to take care of the environment on Earth Day. They may agree to turn off water when they brush their teeth, and we've talked about that in quite a few books that we've read this week. Or to take shorter baths and showers. I keep trying that with my girls. It's not working so good. These steps save or conserve water. So that means, again, that we use less. We're not wasting. Family members might remind each other to recycle printer cartridges. Old computers, cell phones, and some batteries can also be recycled. So at my preschool that I used to teach at, we would save the printer cartridges to recycle them. People talk about better ways to reuse items. Empty tissue boxes are good for storing many different things. Old milk jugs are perfect for watering plants. Paper gift bags and bows can be reused again. And a planter here is made from a milk carton. So they cut the top off and now they've put a plant inside. Isn't that clever? Instead of just throwing it out in the garbage and having it end up in a landfill. Can you think of some things that you can recycle or reuse? Every day should be Earth Day when it comes to protecting the environment. All right, and so I was watching on the news today, and it was talking about one of the positive things that has come out from our health crisis of everybody needing to stay home to be safe. They were talking about how having everybody stay home and doing less driving and less of our regular life, that the cities that had polluted air, the sky is looking so much healthier. The animals are starting to wander around a little bit more, so that these 6 weeks that we have spent at home have really helped take care of the earth, and that hopefully we can all learn moving forward ways that we can do a better job of taking care of our earth, because we gave the earth, we're giving her a much needed break right now. So I am curious to see what kinds of things that you could do to help take care of the earth. I'm a little sad because normally on Earth Day I would be reading a book by Todd Parr called The Earth Book, but somehow it did not make it home to Mrs. Groth's at-home classroom. I love reading it because it's really written at a little kid level, and it has a great poster with it. But luckily, I still have my poster. And it shows us 10 things that you could do to take care of the earth. Are you ready to hear my list? I would love to see a list that you write at home. Remember, when we make a list, we put numbers on the side to know how many things are on our list. And when we make a list, we write it on one line and then we go down to the next line. It's not like when we're writing a story and we put one sentence after another, but in a list you go down, 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 down. Okay, so number 1, turn off the lights. And see, Todd Parr used a picture and words so that way the reader knows what Todd Parr is saying. Recycle, and we talked about recycling plastic and paper and glass. Save my leftovers. So we have been doing that a lot here in our house just because it's tricky to get to the store. So we make sure that we're not throwing any food away, we're not wasting. So we're making sure that if we don't finish it for dinner, then somebody has it for lunch the next day, or maybe we have a leftover night where everybody has kind of a party plate and we have a little bit of the leftovers from a bunch of different nights. Number 4, be nice to the worms. Number 5, share a book. So see, there's a copy of my Earth book. And so instead of buying a new book, you can share a book. So Miss B and I do that a lot in our classrooms. We share books back and forth. Number 6, plant a tree. Number 7, use both sides of the paper. So once you're done with one side, turn it over and use the other side. So I've been doing that when I'm writing out my grocery lists or planning out my menu. I put 1 week on one side and 1 week on the other side of what things we're going to eat for dinner. Number 8, save water. Number 9, clean up the trash. So remember, don't leave the trash out in nature because that hurts the animals that are out there. And number 10, put my underwear in the freezer when it's hot. That's a silly one. So I think what Todd Parr is saying, instead of turning on the air conditioner, which uses a lot of electricity, if you put your underwear in the freezer, it makes it really cold, and then you can put that on to keep you cooled off. So sometimes when the kids were little, we would take their t-shirts, we'd make them wet, we'd fold them up and put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. And then we would have a race to see who could get their shirt thawed out the fastest outside in the sun on a hot summer day, and then they wore their cold, wet shirt, and that really helped cool them off. So that is a way that we can be good to nature. So we've got 10 ways that we can be good to nature. I can't wait to hear what you're going to be doing at your house. Goodbye, boys and girls. Happy Earth Day.